So let's look at gold. This is my first time looking at it today. I did kind of look at it before the market opened, but let's break this down. So right here, we can see we have all this divergence right here. You see all this green right here, which is lined up with this. It's showing a high impact is about to happen. And this is on the 1 hour. Oops. So we know we got to get a push down at least to this level right here, where we see all this resistance, 1 2 turned in, that broke, that needs to be turned into support. So we know eventually like this is going to be our end goal from here. That's a lot of pips. So let me delete this, that's old. So now let's go to the 30-minute. I have this, but this is very narrow, so I'm going to delete that. Right here we still see the divergence on the 30-minute, but I want to get down to the nitty-gritty because as you can see on the 30-minute it's not as clear, so I want it to be as clear as possible. Right here it's a little clear. We can start seeing a little structure forming, and you can see we still have divergence all the way from over here, which is here, all the way up. I looked at this before the market opened, and I saw that we had a gap right here. So I highlighted it in purple because I wanted to see if we was going to come back to fill it in, basically, which it actually did. It pushed right past it, right to this high. So this is what I mean by filling a gap. It came like equal to this gap and filled it in. And let me just show an example, as if this was like this. So it came back to that gap area. It formed another high, which these 2 points were pretty much the same level. You can see it stayed right there as the third point. I had this right here, 1 2 3 points. We can see that's when we gapped through it, and then it came back and pushed past it a little bit, which I'm not surprised by because like I said, I did want to see if it was going to fill it in. So of course this wasn't like a perfect retest, but the fact that it did come back to this zone right here to retest as a third time. And then let's look at this divergence. On this one, you can mostly see it from here. And you can see we did surpass TP2. Our previous level of support was right here. I'm trying to see what the market's showing us right now. Right now we're like in this little consolidation area. But you can see we have resistance that broke, came back as support. Now we're back at support. I wouldn't continue it down to here until we broke past here, retest, and continue. But right now, from where we are, I can see like we're not passing these highs right here. So those are 3 highs. If I do get in for a sell, I would put my stop loss up here somewhere, give it some wiggle room. And then based off this, we did break past these lows right here. And then we came back to this level right here, which was previously resistance. I want to see if we're going to finish out a structure like this. I hit 88.6 on this lower time frame. I can see it coming to TP1 for sure, possibly retesting, and if it retests here, then you'll take it down to TP2. If you want to wait this out to see if this does continue lower, I would wait until we get the break and the retest of this zone first. If you want to be more of a risk taker, then this is definitely an entry option right here, since that is a retest. If we look at how these candles look on the higher time frame, see if there's wick exhaustion. Oops. Yes, there's a lot of wick exhaustion in this area. Just showing that there's a lot of sellers at this point, which indicates that there can be this overall downtrend happening. So we have wick exhaustion as confirmation, we have divergence, and then we have a third retest of this top zone right here that are all giving us indications that we're going to be falling. Boom. So this will be a perfect opportunity to get in for sales for gold. And then after that, we're just going to see what it does. But right now, this is what I see happening. It can come for sure to TP1. And then I do see it possibly going to TP2 if we do create another high like in this area to retest and then push down to TP2. These last couple weeks. Last week we had this sell that we was looking for, and then we saw it stopped in this zone area right here that was recently resistance that broke and turned into support. And then we had another break of this trend line right here that was holding price down on minor structure. And then we had a retest, and then we pushed right back up. So you can see even on here, we had boom, boom, and then it shot up, skyrocketed. We even broke past this daily, because everything red on my chart is the higher time frame. So you can see right here. Let me lower this down some more. This is an area where we had a lot of resistance, 1, 2, 3, and then we broke through it right here. And remember, everything that gets broken always gets retested. So where we're at right now, we surpassed TP2, we broke through this zone, and then we also have divergence forming right here. Similar to gold, all this color right here is an indication of a reversal. Even look right here to the left. You can see all this green right here that was at the top, and then it fell. This is the same thing I see right here. So we have TP2, broke through, we have divergence forming. So that's 3 confirmations. All we need is a break and a retest. So right now we're looking at the 1 hour. I want to go to the 30-minute. You can see it starts getting deeper right here. All that's going down. Meanwhile, this was still going up. But you can see right here, we also open with the gap just like we did with gold right here. And you can see price came right back up, filled in that gap. And we are kind of forming some type of structure right here. Let's see how it looks on the 15-minute. So we can see right here, we had this little structure right here. It hit TP1. And then right here, I have this trend line right here. 1 point right here, 1, 2 point drawn to the future, we broke. And it looks like we could be retesting right here because there is some wick exhaustion right there. Even on the 30 minutes, a little bit more clear, all those wicks right there. And it did not come past that high to the left. So this can be your break and retest right here. Break and retest. And then the stop loss would be at this high right here. Because if it comes to this high, most likely in the wrong direction. Also, it is you have to be mindful too, because we are near this foundation level right here. So it might push up to that level before it starts reversing. So if you do want to wait, just to be mindful to see if it's going to push up, you can wait and draw another trend line like here. And then wait for it to break and retest here, and then take it down to this zone. Because if it breaks and retests this trend line, that means it's going to break these lows right here. I'm just writing an example. And then it's going to come up and go to TP1 minimum, which is right in there in that zone. But you always still want to keep your stop loss still at that previous high. But right now, I want to see if it doesn't push past this high. If it does push past this high, then I see it coming up here. If it does not, it can still do something like this. Because right now, if it does do sales, let's see where it is on the fib. It's at 50. Yeah, barely 61, but I want to say 50 just to be safe. So at minimum, it's going to come down here to TP1, 121 pips. And then from there, that's when I see it possibly like reversing back to this trend line right here and then pushing down further. Because once it comes down to TP1, since this is minor structure, all you'll do is adjust your fib to that next low. So let's say if it finishes right here, it's going to come up right here to 38.2. 38.2, we already know on the fib level means it's about to shoot right to TP, non-stop, no waiting. So then that'll be another entry for another 144 pips. So you'll have this first entry right here to TP1. That'll be 120 pips. Then have that break and that retest. Take it right here. And then another 140 pips. 140 pips for us, 120 pips. That will be about 260 pips that you can reach in, I would say, at least 2 to 3 days max off of EU. And then from there, that's when we'll reevaluate. But right now, it's for sure going to be coming back to this zone. It's just a matter of timing of that drop. I really want to see if it's going to do something like, I want to see once it gets to this trend line. What is it going to do once it gets to this trend line? Is it going to retest it and then bounce back up to this foundation level for a buy? That'll be a quick buy. And that's when you'll get in right here and take it up to TP1. That'll be 153 pips. And then from there, that's when we'll look. But right now, we can't wait on we can't say it's going to sell because we need a break and a retest for that to occur. So wait to see what this happens. Right now, I have an alert on my trend line for 15 minutes to see what happens right there. If that's the case, then your stop loss will go over here. So let's wait to see what happens with that. Because like I said, we are near this foundation level. So it's like a magnet, so it can push up there before we get a final break and retest. So once we get up there, then that's when we'll adjust another trend line and then start looking for a break and retest from there. Same thing for gold. Like I said, just be patient. Wait for this break and this retest right here for a continuation of a sale. It needs to break through this low because right now we are in this consolidation area. Overall, like I don't see it pushing up, but just in case if it does, this is a trend line you can be looking for right there. So if it comes to this trend line, see if it retests to push up. That'll be a miniature buy right here to take the TP1. So just be mindful. Both of these are in divergence, but we just need that final break and retest to solidify on both ends on which direction we're going to be going in. We need that break and retest as a final confirmation on when to get in, because like I said, it can still continue in the overall direction it's currently in before it changes. So yeah, let's wait on that. Let's see how it looks in the morning.